Oh, it's really bright out here and it's really warm. And every time I do anything out here or move out here or make a noise out here, dog next door barks. It's lovely, really lovely. It's still Valentine's Day, and as you see, we bought some flowers. Are we on a tilt? Do you think you can cope with that? I can try and only got one hand. I've got kombucha in my other hand. What do I need to do? Pause you. Better, no? So yeah, we've been out, we've come back, and I realised that when I made the vlog this morning, one of the things that I was going to talk about was how much better I am and what difference that makes to my life. So those of you that are not in chronic pain, those of you that aren't sick, those of you that think that they don't want to hear about it, look away, because I'm going to talk about it. So I saw the osteopath about 10 days ago, and a week before that I saw my rheumatologist. So there's been lots of changes, and I'm not sure who to it's so fucking frustrating when the word's in there in your head and then it buggers off. So frustrating. Who to assign the victory to? That word, they're not the words I was looking for, but my hands are loads better. Loads better. Look. That's really not too painful. I still have to be careful, especially with this right hand. But my hands are better. I can do more. I can use them more. And as long as I still pay attention to what I'm doing with this right arm and not knocking my hand into something and things, I'm really, really loads better. I'm not wearing the gloves. I'm not wearing the gloves at night. I have to interrogate myself sometimes to check, do you need this? Do you need painkillers? Should you take? What will you take? But so my hands are a lot better. My shoulder blade and lower neck on this right side is just unbelievable. I've had this pain in my lower neck and my shoulder blade, mainly on this side, for I can't remember how long for. It seems to me that it's been years, and I know that on the Health Unlocked forum, it's been described as something that you get when you're taking steroids, and it's myofascial pain, and myofascia. I meant to look before I made this vlog so that I could pronounce it properly, and I haven't. Sometimes being real is an arse. Oh, shut the fuck up. The myofascia or the myofascia is that very fine white tissue that you get around muscles in meat. So in red meat you might come across it, and it's really difficult to cut through it. So quite often what you buy has had all that removed, but sometimes you might come across it. Well, that's myofascia, and it is found around muscles and is part of how the muscle and the tendons attach. Muscles, tendons, ligaments, can't remember which way around that is either now, but it's part of how they attach to bones. And I've understood that what I've had is myofascial pain, but actually I don't think it was, and I don't think it has been. And the osteopath a week ago Monday did some very, very minor, well, it wasn't minor in the results, but it was a very gentle cranial work around this side under along the edge of your skull. Very minor, worked there for about 10 minutes, gradually moving my neck. And I didn't understand what he was doing, because the pain for me was at the other end of the scapula, where where my underarm starts. So I didn't connect that with what he was doing. It didn't occur to me. And I've realised over the last 2 or 3 days that I haven't had to go to Mark to get him to massage in magnesium oil onto that part of my back, which has been a constant theme for years. And I'm not feeling it now. I don't have to go and sit on the sofa and slump down to rest that part of my body. And talking about it makes me worry that it's going to come back, because what fascinates me is that you can have this pain for months and months and months and months and months, and when it goes, you don't notice it's gone. And it's only, don't know, this morning or yesterday, I've thought to myself, hold on a minute, that's gone. It's just incredible. So the difference for me in feeling a lot better, obviously the increased medication and the injection is probably also responsible for some of my the situation I'm in now. But I feel so much better, and because I feel so much better, it means I can do things to help me dietary wise. So it means that I can cook, and am motivated to cook better food. The problem is when you get so bogged down in pain, it drags you down, and it stops you just being creative, I suppose, and you just want to do something really simple. Quite often I think, oh, I'll just cook something really simple. Well, simple often means something that I can throw together that's not so healthy. And because I've been feeling healthy over at least a week, if not longer, and I've kept meaning to say, I know I said when I shared the photo of the coffee machine and talked about, Mark sanded down my worktops and they got re-oiled, and I sharked and I mopped, and whenever it was that I said that, and whenever that happened, I've been feeling well since then, if not before, and it feels amazing. It absolutely amazing, and I just hope it continues. I just hope it continues. It makes the idea of dealing with Candida so easy. So I'm really pleased about that. So we're eating more healthily. What have I added in? I've added in, after watching, I can't remember now whether it was Michael Mosley or whether it was Tim Spector. I have to check that I've not said Phil Spector. It is Tim Spector. I'm not sure which one. It was talked about mushrooms and how we should be having those at least more than 3 times a week. So I've added mushrooms into our diet. We had a low carb diet again today, low carb meal, mushrooms, cauliflower, celeriac, chips, and a pork chop. So I'm doing that. I've moved over to dark chocolate again because I'd come off that years ago and started eating milk chocolate again, because when we first came here I got used to dark chocolate, and then I went back to milk chocolate, and it's much higher sugar and everything, and with dark chocolate you get your chocolate hit without needing so much, so you might have a couple of squares of dark chocolate as opposed to more squares of milk chocolate. So I've gone to dark chocolate, mushrooms, coffee, as we've talked about, decent coffee that's organic, freshly ground, and then decaf in the afternoon. So I feel really good about that, and I'm sure that that's supporting me health-wise. I also want to say that when I talk about this, I'm not asking for ideas, and I'm not asking for health. I'm not asking for diet information. I'm 67. I've spent my whole life looking at diet information, and when I talk on here, I'm not asking for unsolicited advice. What works for some people doesn't work for others, and I think that's really important to know that all of us have a microbiome that works a certain way, and it doesn't always work how yours works. Those people that don't have any weight problems are quite likely to have the fat busting gene in them, but the microbes in their microbiome that actually deal with fat, or deal with the things that cause fat, because fat doesn't cause fat, it's carbs. So unsolicited advice is really not something that I find very easy. it it sort of pisses me off. It's sort of because it suggests that I don't know what I'm doing, and I look like I don't know what I'm doing. But the reason I look like I don't know what I'm doing is because I'm on steroids, and so many people don't realize. If you look up Cushing's disease, look up Cushing's disease and see what the symptoms are of that, because Cushing's disease is a higher level of cortisol in your body, and then it means that you lay down fat deposits in places, odd places on your body. So between your shoulder blades, under your arms, around your face, you see them talk about moon face. Well, part of my problem is that I'm taking steroids, which are a form of cortisol. And so I'm getting or get a moon face. I have got deposits of fat between my shoulder blades, under my arms. And the more my steroids are, the more that gets. I know that. I don't need anybody to tell me about it. I understand it. I was a nurse. Um, so, yes, sometimes I don't eat food that's good for me. And that's sometimes because I don't feel well enough to make food that's good for us. But we always, I'm always cooking. Not always cooking. What I mean is every day I cook a meal and it's from scratch. Rarely do I open a packet. Rarely do we eat processed or ultra processed foods. And I think that's really important. I'm not eating the crap that many people are eating. And um, we do intermittent fasting, which should have an impact on weight. And had I not been on steroids when we started intermittent fasting 6 years or more ago, I'd probably be a bit slimmer. Not a lot slimmer. I've never been a lot slimmer. The only time I've been a lot slimmer was when I was 20 something and breastfeeding. Got really thin then, but then I was feeding my son and myself on the same amount of calories. So that's the only time. There's a couple of other times. But basically, please don't give me your unsolicited advice about diets that you think I should look at, because I won't look at them. And I look at the people that I trust and have looked at the people I trust. Michael Mosley, I trusted for 12 weeks. We followed the Fast 800 diet. You're not allowed to do it for longer than 12 weeks. We both lost a lot of weight. That's 2 years ago. I've gained some of the weight. It's very common. It's very common to gain the weight that you lost. It's like your body has to reset. It can't cope with being the wrong weight. And I don't know which one of them it was watching or what program it was watching. A couple of years ago, I watched a woman, my sort of stature, so my sort of build, short, chubby, and I can't remember what the name of that body shape is, but it's a certain body shape. We all have. There's the 3 different body shapes, and I'm the short, fat one. And she was a similar body shape, and she followed the same diet that other people in the group followed. And the only way that she could maintain her weight, having lost weight, was to run and run every day. To run, she just had to keep running. Otherwise she'd put weight on. So it shows you that there's something else besides calories in, calories out. That definitely is a myth, and that definitely needs to go fuck itself. And the other thing is that walking is good for your health. Running's good for you. It's all good for your health and your mobility, but actually the amount of calories that you burn doing that are quite minimal. And the fat burning exercise is when you do very fast, short spurts of exercise. So Mark, when he gets on his bike, a static bike, for his knees, he does it to try and get his knees going. When we were doing the Fast 800, and he still does it now, he'll do short bursts of high intensity cycling, and that helps weight loss. So high intensity, short bursts of walking, running, will help weight loss, but just general walking is not going to make much difference. That's it. So I just wanted to say to you, I am healthy now. I feel much better now, and which means that I'm able to do more in terms of healthier eating and stuff like that. So this is my kombucha, which is supposed to have kefir grains in it. I can't see them. So that's part of my new regime. And now I'm going to go back in. Or am I going? No, I'm going to get my book and sit and read out here. But I will need a hat because it's quite bright. And it's still Valentine's Day. Did I? Oh, I did tell you, didn't I? It's still Valentine's Day, and it will be till midnight.